That's amazing.
Hopefully I can find the queen and show you, but
That'd be great. So flying around right now, Tracy, so these are all worker bees?
yeah.
Okay. So the worker bees are female bees. So that's a type, that's a smoke?
Yeah. Just use burlap. I use a blend of burlap and wood pellets.
Okay.
Calms the bees. It's supposed to mask any strange odors as well, you know.
Okay.
And
Yep. You can really hear them buzzing. Oh, look at that.
so see, this up here is capped honey. If I dig into that,
Oh, I see that. Okay.
see that's honey.
Okay.
Where this leathery looking stuff is the brood. Now this is all actually drone cells. These bigger cells down here. See how much bigger like that empty cell is compared
Yes.
to these?
Yeah.
And if you
So the bigger cells are drone cells. This is what Tracy was telling me on the ride up.
if you look, see right down in the bottom of the cell, see the larva down in there?
Oh yeah.
That's young those in there, and those cells, they're all worker cells, so they're all going to become a worker bee.
Wow.
Those in those cells.
Okay.
That's a pretty yucky looking hole frame. They're all drawn funny. If you see all this, this is all the pollen.
All in. Okay.
All this is you see the different colors. There's an orange there and a yellow next to it, and some of this is pollen that they've just brought in.
Mm-hmm.
But most of this has been added. The bees add some enzymes to it. See, like this bigger bee here?
Yeah.
That's a drone. That's a male bee.
Oh, fascinating. Okay.
So much fatter they are and everything than the
They really
workers.
are.
They're about twice the size.
Wow, and they do not have stingers, you said, right?
No.
Their main purpose is reproduction.
Yep.
Okay. So when you sit down at the dinner table, there's a great like fraction or proportion of your food that is direct result of pollinators. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's some people say it's about a third of what we eat is direct from pollinators.
That's incredible.
Yeah, there's another one there with pollen on her.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna get a little bit, get just right in there close.
And like I say there again, that's all pollen that they've brought in, and you can see there's greens, yellows, orange.
Wow. They're just. We were talking about the ride up. They're just. They know what to do. They know what their job is, and it's fascinating to see them all working together to make this happen.
You see all the brown, leathery looking stuff?
Yeah.
That's all worker larva. Worker brood, that's all. Another bee on the end there with pollen.
Oh yeah. It's also amazing how geometric it is with the hexagons. They're just so perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on the way up, we were talking about some of the challenges they face without the mites that bring viruses that you have to be aware of. Is there any treatment for the viruses?
Not for the viruses. The only treatments that they have right now are for the mites, to try to keep the mite numbers down.
Okay.
So then in turn there's less virus load coming in from to the bees and stuff. So the problem is you're trying to kill an insect that's living on an insect that you're trying to protect. So
right.
it's
That's
very very touchy, very, it's not an easy thing to do. You have to be very careful and, follow the instructions on the different miticides right to a T. See, that's just solid brood ringed with honey and pollen, which is what they do. So that's right close to feed that larva before it's capped over. See if I cut into one of these. See, that one's, it's a bee, but it's still white in there,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
gone from the larva to the bee stage.
Right.
And that's what you're seeing here. These are some of the drones that they lay in between the frames.
Okay.
They make larger drones, and that's what they are, is drones that aren't completely developed.
Okay.
They always put them in between the frames. You pull them apart and stuff all the time.
So another thing Tracy was telling me on the way up is that the bees, they'll use pollen, and pollen is their main protein source. And whereas nectar, and we looked at that chart earlier, some flowers are more nectar producers, or complete nectar producers and not pollen producers. Some are both. So the nectar is their carb source. It really gives the bees the energy to complete all these amazing jobs that they do.
There's one there with pollen on her legs. Yeah, and some of this, like right here that you can see that's fresh honey. That's fresh nectar, fresh honey.
Oh, wow.
In that fresh new cone up there. Like you say, right now I don't know of anything other than dandelions that they're probably bringing nectar in from.
Okay.
So even this stuff here, this is fresh. It's probably dandelion nectar.
Yeah.
Some of this they're starting to freshly cap. You can see like that cell's half capped.
Mm-hmm.
That cell's half capped and stuff. So it's actually been through the drying process that they do to it and stuff. And the enzymes that they add to it have been added to it to convert it into the honey.
Another challenge we talked about on the way up was the use of pesticides. And we just mentioned dandelions are the first real nectar source in this area. Or one of the first, I don't know if it is the first. But, oh yeah, look at that.
And they have, the worker bees have little pockets on their back legs that they pack the pollen in.
Oh wow.
So
they pack it in there with their legs?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Now, you mentioned that sometimes hives will be more aggravated or angry, you might call them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they tend to produce the most honey.
Oddly enough, yes.
Yeah, that is.
The more aggressive colony in the bee yards always seems to produce the most honey in the bee yard. You get a colony that's very mellow and gentle to work with, and they won't produce as much honey for some reason. It seems to be the way things are.
Yeah.
Yet to be capped. Well, right there she is.
Which one? Oh,
Right-
yeah,
right there.
she's longer, yeah.
Quite a bit longer, and
I'm going to pull the camera over so I can see her. So she's right here on my finger. She's quite a bit longer. It takes a keen eye to really spot her because there's so much going on. Right, there she goes. And it's amazing. Just one queen for this whole Like you said, colony?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Wow.
And she can lay her own body weight in eggs per day.
Incredible.
They'll, in the prime of the summer, they'll lay 3,000 eggs a day.
3,000. Wow.
Go and get her put back in here.
Yeah.
If I could just see where she went. Kind of lost track of her. I want to normally try to.
It's a newbie. It's going to be really difficult for me to spot her.
There she is. Just try to have some idea where she is. You definitely don't want to pinch her or hurt her because there again, she's the only one. They can take, if she does get hurt, they can take one of the eggs that's freshly laid, and there again, as soon as it hatches, they start feeding it the royal jelly, and instead of stopping after 3 days, they'll continue, and they can make a new queen.